Hello and welcome back to our Let's Play of Europa Universalis 4. When we left off, we were just going to essentially declare war on Granada over here, so let us do that. But first and foremost, we do need to take care of our military, so we will be essentially dropping spending in a few different things, and we will be kicking off that war. But beforehand, we do essentially need to give 1 or 2 turns for our army's morale to recover, indicated by the sidebar here. And as soon as that fills up, we will be able to effectively declare war with these guys, so let's do that. So how the system works is that we essentially use one of these little icons here, press one of our claims onto them, and then now we are at war with them. Voila! So we will effectively start our campaigns here. It doesn't look like Morocco, one of their allies, decided to join them inside the fight. So now we effectively have the opportunity to really just crush their little lands over here and just kind of take over what they have here. So let's do that. And let's see what has happened here. So remember, let's see what this event is all about. There should be a stable government. Several members of the leading governments are deeply worried about how some proposed changes to the realm are going. So it looks like we have the thing that we can either accept their demands or lose some prestige. Well, we're going to take a prestige cost because I'm not all too worried about that. So let's do that, and let's send that their way. And well, let's go back to sieging here. So with that said, I mean, right now we just want to continue. We just want to take over this territory, and how the sieges work is that if we go over to one of the sieges here, you'll see that it's effectively down to a dice roll once again, but you can do a few things to influence the dice roll. You have your leader's attack ability, your amount of artillery that you bring, and depending on whether or not there is a port present, you can actually blockade the port to do so. But right now, our navy is definitely not in the top of shapes, so we won't be doing that. But anyways, that's how essentially the siege works. Every single turn, a random dice roll will be kind of rolled, and then depending on these different variables, you have some events that will happen, and over the course of a few days, you know, siege will happen. The defenders will eventually surrender, and as soon as they give in, well, that happens. Now, we are starting to run a little bit low on funding throughout all of these events, right? So as soon as we finish our conquests here, we are going to have to swing our priorities up and go into the economic portion of it. I'm also going to come up here and I'm going to change the culture of this province to what it is to our own, so that we gain some extra cash income from that. And that can actually also be one of the missions, so this may give us a head start on one of the side missions as well, making that also pretty helpful. What I think I'll do is that I'll actually send a diplomat to Aragon for the sake of just trying to make it to keep our relations decent with them, and really just avoiding fights on that front. So we're going to do that, and in the meantime our sieges will continue with only one group, because if we actually have 2 groups here, we do suffer a attrition penalty for stacking too many units onto one tile. So right now it is mainly just going fast, speeding through this little portion here of sieging. There we go. That place actually lasted for 3 years. Well, so now that we essentially have taken over all of their lands, I didn't really get the chance to talk all too much about the battles. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But how the battles effectively work is that the combat is broken up into a fire and a shock set round, and then it's essentially going back down into the dice rolls once again, and well, that kind of just goes into the blender with a few more stats, and then voila, you have your battle. So we have the Bishop of Toledo event here. So there's an empty seat here. There's a churchman who from a rich family who has made an offer, and if we approve and back his election, we will gain a large contribution to our coffers. But some more devout people claim that it is a sin called simony. But what do they know? We can either gain money from this with some papal influence. Well, we need money right now, so we will be going with that. And now I believe we have our diplomat back, so we're going to claim these 3 places. Our enemy will effectively cede these places simply because the war score here of 28 is below the threshold of 100, so they will accept. So we will gain the tile that we had initially claimed as the justification for our war. But in addition to that, we can also claim a few other tiles, such as we can essentially absorb their entire nation here. But we do have to pay the price of 50 diplomatic points for claiming 2 extra tiles. Excuse me, had to cough. There, had to turn off the mic. But anyways, we'll finish off just like that. And there we go. So a mission has been completed, and we have finished off that part right there. So that is that area. And now that we've incorporated that area into our nation, we will be able to essentially do another mission now. So we do have the option of improving our prestige, becoming a papal controller, or removing Nevera from the map, and unfortunately none of those ones are particularly good objectives. So what I think I'll do instead is that I'll come over here, and I'll actually be firing our advisor over here, our artist, simply because he's getting a little too expensive to maintain, and we don't necessarily need his services anymore, and instead we'll replace him with a treasurer, which will be able to increase our taxes. He's actually much cheaper too, so this should do a number for our economy. It'll make it much more easier to keep all of our economic things running, which is going to be nice, so then we can finally keep our colony growing and maintain a fleet too. Really nice. There we go. So that will get our economy set up, and soon enough we will have enough power in military as well as administrative to gain 2 levels in tech here. So we will wait there for that. So it's really a matter of speeding down some time here. So we will eventually go into Morocco, but I think we're going to have to wait a little bit here just for the sake of grabbing these things. Royal marriage from Portugal. I'll accept that. Now let's see what happens. These bars should effectively these bars should complete in about 1 or 2 months. And we actually have a university somewhere inside our tiles, which will definitely help out. It actually lowers the base price of these from 600 down by a little bit, so that's nice. We'll be able to research Pike Square now. So this is a military tech which will effectively grant us a more or less of a general bonus. Now we can build the armory is the main thing. Military tactics, land morale, and infantry shock, and a lot of the shock values and fire values and stuff will generally increase when you level up your military tech. On certain levels you'll gain more buildings such as the armory, which is going to make recruiting a little bit cheaper and I think a little bit quicker as well. But the main thing that you want is new units. Currently the medieval Latin infantry, they're really substandard to me. I mean, they don't have any values in fire or shock, and they're kind of dependent on their leader right now. We want some men-at-arms. We want some longbowmen, which is at level 5 military technology, which will come up later on. But right now we're just going to have to deal with a few other advancements like administrative technology, and this will actually free up a slot in which we can finally get started on doing these national ideas. Now, I believe we've talked about this a little bit, where effectively what we do is that we essentially choose one of these things down, we essentially grab one of these ideas down, pluck it down, and then these will allow us to perform a certain action. So let's grab something right now from the diplomatic ideas tree, simply because it looks like we will be able to actually buy one of these ideas in the next little bit. So let's see. It looks like the diplomatic tree won't be that bad. The trade ideas tree actually isn't that bad either. But one of the key things that we want to go for is the exploration ideas, which will bring us into the new world, aka the America. So we'll actually pick that up right now, and in a little bit we will actually be able to level that up fully and then be able to essentially accomplish that one too. So that'll be rather helpful. Right now, let's see if we have any particular casus belli against these two North African nations, and unfortunately we don't. So what I think I'll do is that I'll actually send one of our what's it called, diplomats over there to essentially found a fabricator claim for us on one of the tiles here. So they will go over and they will do that. It'll take a little bit of time, but they should generally just go for it and get it done at some point. We can hire a new military leader now that it looks like one of our older ones died in that event right there. Because we have essentially when you hire military leaders, their base traits are dependent on our army tradition. So the more army tradition you have, the higher traded your leaders will be. And we have 15, which is pretty good. And it looks like we gain a fairly it looks like we gained a fairly good commander, average commander, with 222. So that's pretty good for now. Generally speaking, I call that average simply because we can gain like really amazing leaders later on, but if you don't have any tradition at all, you'll typically be generating bad leaders all the way. So with that being said, right, that guy is good for now relative to other people, I guess. During a recent jousting competition, looks like this event, an unheralded commoner surprised all of the attendants by besting everybody who faced him until he was declared the champion. Well, we can make him a general actually, so we will do that. So that'll actually give us an amazing leader like that. This person right here. Although that will put us over the general cap. We can support up to 5 leaders. But it looks like for some... Oh wait, never mind. We can support up to 5 leaders, but we only get 1 for free, so we'll generate this person up, and he is a pretty good leader, so I am very happy about that. And in the meantime, we can build a few provincial improvements, so let's do that. Let's build a armory somewhere. Let's build an armory here and here. And from those 2 provinces, we'll start building our forces, really. What I think I'll do is that I'll put our army maintenance at 75%. Right now, the Portugal and Aragon alliance is a bit of a threat against us, I've got to say. So we do have to kind of keep that in check by having our people set up here just like that. So hopefully with our diplomats inside Aragon and keeping our military at semi-active duty, we should be able to hold them off. And we are able to get some tech tree or some ideas going on, so that is good. We're going to get colonial ventures, something that isn't going to be immediately useful, but getting quests for the new world later on will be definitely very, very useful, so that is going to be very nice. Let's see. Prove legitimacy is one thing that we can go for. Become the PAL controller, and well, let's go with this objective. So right now we need to make sure that our legitimacy goes up. So with that said, I mean, we'll just kind of do that as it is. Now let's see. We have a yes. This is good. We managed to found a claim on this province, so we are going to be able to declare war now to take this province. So yeah, that is very nice. We have managed to forge a CB. So with that said, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to call our navy back for now. I'm going to be building a few units here, a few transport units mainly. So we're going to build 4 cogs to transport our forces, and we're going to be building quite a lot of these medieval Latin knights, provided that we have the funds for them, of course. because we do need to bring up more troops onto the battlefield. And actually, how much are these Latin infantry are definitely cheaper, but they just don't perform equally in battle is my main problem with them. So I guess there will be a little bit of a slow portion here as we build the ships and the goods needed to carry the war forward. But provided that we have the right goods here, we should be able to really stomp through Morocco and Algiers fairly easily. So that will be actually really rather nice. And I believe Portugal would actually join us inside that war. So it looks like we are unable to increase diplomatic relations with Aragon anymore. So with that said, I guess we're just going to have to leave it as such. And let's see what else has happened. Another random event. The Bishop of Toledo, I think we've already checked this out, but this one is about a empty bishop seat where a churchman from a rich family can actually makes us an offer to help him get elected and to essentially pay us to give him that seat. And we have two options here. We can either take the money or we can gain papal influence instead. And well, right now I'm not really rather interested in dealing with the papal influence thing. That's more or less of a late game thing in my opinion. So we'll take the money, and that money is actually going to go right on into constructing new units for us, so all the better. So there we go. Now we are going to be able to assemble quite a large army here. So we're going to get all of our transport ships effectively assembled inside one spot. It'll be able to carry 10 regiments. And what we're going to do is that we're going to divide our troops into 10 unit blocks. And these unit blocks are then going to cross by boat into Morocco. And they will just kind of invade Morocco just like that. Alright, there we go. Now I have a feeling we're ready for this war, so let us begin. These people still have an alliance against with Tunisia, so we do have to keep that in mind. Let's go back to our nation and let's take a look at our diplomacy. So currently, a lot of people seem to be improving their relations with us, which is good. Algiers seems to be improving our relations with us. We do have an alliance with Portugal, I believe, and I do believe Portugal has some claims. Yeah, Portugal is an enemy of Algiers, and it's also an enemy of Morocco. So I believe Portugal will fight for us inside this war. With that said, we're going to declare war on Morocco just like that. So that's going to start off a conflict like that. With that said, we can come down over here to Portugal, and we're going to enlist their help. And it looks like they will answer our call, so let's send that over. And it looks like they have honored our agreement, so they will fight for us inside this campaign. And well, it's time to conquer. Now, I didn't forget about the two leaders that we had here. So we have Mr. Super Maneuver person right here with his amazing stats in maneuver. And we also have another commander that's also pretty good. So we're just going to assign the two leaders their troops, and then we're just going to get them to march. So we're effectively going to use this boat as a bridge. For some reason, I used to remember being able to use the Straits of Gibraltar automatically as a little bit of a bridge, a ferry cross, but for some reason I guess they removed that in EU4 or something. But anyhow, it doesn't work like that anymore, or it never did work like that. So anyhow, it's all right. It looks like people are fleeing to the colonies here, the one that we have, which is a good thing. So we're just going to click on that. Let's get another troop of men over here. Let's take a look at this battle. So because of our Supremo commander here, we should be getting quite a few good dice rolls along with some good values from shock and whatnot. So this battle we should be able to win, despite the fact that we just landed onto the places here. And yeah, there we go. Nice battle coming over. So, as we win these battles, you may have noticed that I've been kind of going through these like little battle reports pretty fast. I will cover this one simply because now that the cannonry and whatnot has died down a small amount. Anyhow, the battle reports here list first and foremost our losses and how much war score that we gain from it. But the main thing that we have to note here is that in multiplayer games, it might be useful to note what the enemy commander is. But another thing is war exhaustion, prestige, and army tradition. So these are things that we gain. I've already talked about army tradition. It's generally a good thing to have for our army. It makes it so that we can recruit good commanders. War exhaustion, something that we don't want to have. Really, really bad for the defender. For example, these guys, they lost 5 points of it, and that is huge. Castel can actually only handle about 20 points of war exhaustion. So just to get a feel of that, if you suffer a major defeat, yeah, it's going to cost you in that category. But another thing that we're getting right now is prestige, something that is very, well, it's nice to have in large amounts, but isn't necessarily all too needed, but it's definitely nice to have. So that is just going to go up here into the prestige tab, and that's effectively just going to help us out in a few things. In general, it's nice to have, but it decays really quickly. Let's see what else has happened. It looks like the newly graduated people from our university. Yeah, our provinces start off with different buildings. I didn't talk about the university because, to be frank, I didn't actually know about this. But it looks like because we have a university, we do get a few events from it. Alright, so a new graduating class has come out. We can either send the youth into the army because we are at war, or alternatively we can put them into the bureaucratic desks. And because I love having a lot of administrative efficiency, you know where I'm putting those guys. Perfect. We're landing more and more troops onto the coast, making that siege go ever higher. There we go. So now we are really laying the war onto the enemies' tiles over here. But it looks like we're losing a steady amount of money per turn, which is not exactly a great thing. As you see here inside this particular siege, we're not suffering that province being under a blockade negative roll thing anymore, so that is rather good. And for now, we will essentially just continue sieging these three locations for the next little bit, and we just want to take them over pretty much. So now, I'm not really sure where the Portuguese are though. They must be they must be here somewhere. Their boat is over here, so they might be landing troops. Let's see, another fight broke out here. Our troops, once again, we have a great commander who has 2 fire. So our commander will automatically add 2 fire and 2 shock to the dice rolls in each and every single one of the phases, making him really rather valuable. Unlike these troops here, which have pretty much 0 of anything, 0 fire and potentially 0 shock if they were Latin troops, we should be able to just kind of easily fend off these guys here. Well, not easily fend them off, but give them a good fight. And let's see here, we have yeah, another great battle for us. More prestige, more army tradition, and more things in general, which is nice. Actually, all of the walls on the currently sieged tiles are actually breached, so we could commence assaulting them, but I feel like that's a little risky, so I think I'll avoid doing that for now. Let's see what else we can do here for the moment being. I think I'll boost up our stability of our realm to +2, simply because I want to get a little more tax rolling, a little more trade power, and definitely having that national revolt risk being lowered will be definitely helpful when we grab some provinces up here, which will definitely be a problem in terms of managing for revolts. So yeah, there we go, 1 tile down. Let's move on to the next one. Ooh, Tunisia decided... that's where the Portuguese went. Okay, well, the Portuguese wishes to essentially give us a white piece. We will accept their offer simply because, well, that's how I roll. So we'll kind of go with that, and we'll send these guys over here. And that should, yeah, that should fix things up here. So there we go. That should, yeah, this should solve the majority of issues over here. Oh, this army is, yeah, those rebels are fairly tough for some reason. Generally speaking, I mean, rebels aren't really all too, like, they aren't usually tough, but for whatever reason in that situation, they were fairly beefy. So let's see what we can do here. Yeah, now the Portuguese come and they'll help us out by a little bit. I want to see if we can just nab these two provinces and see if they'll go for it, but it doesn't look like they will, so we will continue attacking them. Another event happened, glory for us. It looks like we can either gain 5 legitimacy or 5 prestige. Well, let's go with prestige, seeing as how our fighting is generating already quite a large sum of prestige for us. Let's see what else has happened here. Not really much. Let's see. They will be willing to part off with 2 of their tiles right here, and that's well, that is, I believe, what exactly we want. So let's actually just send that. Let's actually send that over. Or no, we can wait for. See, now this is where the game gets a little bit tricky, because one of the new things Europa Universalis 4 introduces is the concept of overextension. Right now, if we claim 2 provinces, our overextension will be 40%. If we claim Fez, it'll be 28%, so I'm considering pressing for Fez as well, but I think we'll just go with 2 provinces for now. So we're going to send that diplomatic over to them. They'll probably accept it just like that. And there we go, 2 more tiles, a little bit of North Africa for us. There we go. So what does overextension mean now? Overextension affects us in a few ways here. Because we have provinces that aren't our cores, they will be essentially overextended places. They will affect our little abilities here, so they're making things a little more expensive for us here. What we can essentially do is that we can essentially turn these provinces into cores by spending administrative power, and with that said, we will actually be doing that. So we will be kind of slowly assimilating land such as this as we go along. And we'll just be gradually slow boating, changing these tiles into places that we will gradually own. So that is essentially what we're going to be doing. And, well, we're just going to be gradually fulfilling that legitimacy goal as well. So that is, well, that is what we're going to be doing here. Now, just doing a quick check of some of the other stuff that we have going on here. Do we have the maximum amount of royal marriages? Yes, we do. Okay, well, that's good. So yeah, unlike Europa Universalis 3, your expansion will be a little bit more limited inside this game. You can't really expand all that fast now, so don't expect any really quick blitz land expansions. So with that said, I mean, there's definitely a bigger focus on expanding through colonialism and stuff like that. With that said, we are teching up for that quest for the new world, where then we should be able to hopefully come over here, go to South America in a little bit later on. So with that said, I mean, right now we've essentially taken our little slice of North Africa. It's going to take us a long time to kind of continuing off of this, simply because of the overextension thing, as well, along with making these provinces ours. So that's a rather nice flavor touch to the game, and it looks like our old king died. Kind of unfortunate, because we were actually replaced by somebody a little less competent. So Enrique over here has 000, making him essentially our equivalent of King Henry VII. So yeah, our abilities in these three categories are going to be lowered by a little bit. We're just going to leave off here, because we have done essentially what we had wanted to at the start, right? But it should be fine. Later on, we will be able to have Enrique II, or how does Enrique IV become Enrique the first? I don't know. Anyways, we will be able to get a much better command leader later on, so we will wait until then. I will end the episode here, and when we come back, hopefully we'll be able to manage our holdings on North Africa, and then later on maybe see what will happen in our quest for the new world. So until then, I'll see you guys later on. Bye bye.